another edition of the Best of Three podcast. And I feel like you guys are getting a lot of these editions because it's week 2 of a Grand Slam. We're serving these pods hot and fresh. Torrey, how are you, sir?
Alvin, I got to tell you, my belly's full. My mind is full. I just wolfed down some Chick-fil-A. And
this podcast is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. I did the same
exactly. And, Alvin, I will say to you that saw some pretty good tennis today. I want you to kick it off, but wow. I mean, it's all I can say. You kick it off. I'll bat second.
All good. I think because we just finished the men's semifinals today. So the women's finals are tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's start there in case, because
it'll happen first. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start there. So we've got Amanda Anisimova versus Iga Świątek. Final of Wimbledon. Yep. That's a pretty tasty matchup. Yep. 1, 2, shocked. They never played before. They have never played on the WTA tour before. They played in juniors, I think once or something like that, or a few times in juniors, but never played on the pro tour, which is kind of interesting because, well, it makes sense, right? Amanda hit her peak and then went away. Right. And then,
took a year, 18 months off or so.
Yeah. Took a beat and then kind of
right during the time of Świątek's ascent.
Exactly. Then played a sporadic schedule last year and then has been kind of full time this year. So this is their first meeting. And kind of looking back at before we get into the actual T's and C's of what we think about this particular matchup.
Yep.
Iga, I asked you this question going into that semifinal with Belinda. Mm-hmm. And I asked you, is it just me or what? I can't really spot what Belinda does well. And I will, props to Andy Roddick. He actually gave a pretty good explanation of his perspective on what she does well. And I took that, which is she really owns the middle of the court. Sure. Backhand's quite strong. She can dictate off that side. Yep. I think we need to redefine what dictate on the backhand means.
I'd like to say she manages the court well, and
she manages the court well,
and I think she certainly does a great job of countering when possible. And I think that's as copious of superlative as I can give her at this stage in her health and her game. Perhaps a few years ago, maybe she was a tad faster. Father time, mother time waits for no one, so that's unfortunate. And at the same time, in the wave of the new game, we're seeing a 4-time Grand Slam champ in a Naomi Osaka, who's not as sharp and as fast as she once was, right? So there's no shade on anyone. I'm 53, Alvin. I'm not even close to what I used to be,
right?
And I haven't given birth to a child. So I say it to say she is so accomplished of a player. Olympic gold medalist. We can't speak enough superlatives in her toward her direction. However, going against that matchup against Świątek, I just feel like she was undergunned and period. And I don't want to say anything more or bad against it. I don't want to belittle Belinda. At the same time, she made it looked as if Świątek pretty much had her way with what she wanted to do, and it was a really good matchup for Iga, wasn't it? It was. Right. She hit the kind of ball that Iga really liked to hit. She didn't hurt her enough, and nor does Iga give you a lot of. Iga doesn't give you a lot of good opportunities to get in rhythm either, right? And I feel like Belinda's the kind of player that needs to, take your big cross back line once, take your back cross once, just to kind of keep you at bay to say, let me wait a second. You don't have wait a second.
There's no wait a second with
Iga,
no,
period.
No,
and so that's
she's not operating.
And then you're operating with a little bit of a lesser serve, and that feeds into her unreal mutant ability of returns. I mean, that's just already you're down 0-3. You don't even realize what hit you.
Right, and so we're taking kind of two things, right, that are becoming super salient right now in women's tennis. The second serve meets second serve return, right? That particular matchup.
Right, and which is huge in the tour in general, right?
Yeah, we'll come to that a little bit later in the Fritz Alcaraz match. But then the other one, to borrow from another great Roger Federer, the best movers are the best players. And when you get to this level where they can all hit the ball, like when you start to get to the last 8 of a Grand Slam, it's almost those things, especially on the women's side, will separate players pretty quickly. And so when I looked at that matchup, I was like, I mean, we're boxing at long distance here, and I know this sounds like something that doesn't apply to tennis, but I'm like, Iga's just going to run circles around her. Yeah. Like they operate at completely different speeds. They do. How does that matter in tennis? It's like, well, Belinda doesn't hit a big enough ball to keep Iga from moving at the pace she wants to move at.
Correct.
Right.
And nor did she possess a serve big enough or accurate enough to keep her at bay enough to not do it. So what do you get? More of the same.
So that's that kind of the way it played out. I was like, yeah, I feel like that's what it's going to look like 9.5 times out of 10. I couldn't imagine anything actually different happening, unless Iga just played horribly.
Right. Or Belinda found a new serve. You know what I mean?
Maybe, in 2 days.
Maybe Roddick should help her, give her the old Roddick serve motion. That might be next on the list. But that's about all I could see.
Yeah. And so with that, we moved past that match, Iga moving forward. The star of the day was the Anisimova Sabalenka match, right? And that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
That was a really, really fun match.
Why didn't you think it was going to be? I felt going into that you didn't necessarily, I'm not putting it out there on you. I don't call you out like that.
No, please do.
I don't feel like you thought it was going to be as straightforward of a power, was that expression, unstoppable force versus the immovable object. I didn't think you saw it like that. I think I saw that. I've missed many calls. I just thought the way that Sabalenka likes to crush to the backhand was going to hit right into Amanda's strength. And I saw her do that again against Coco in the French. Same thing. And Coco just routines that backhand either direction. If anything, I felt like Amanda actually has a bigger forehand than Coco, right? And so when she came back to the forehand, she got hurt over there too. I only say it to say, get back to my point, I felt, even when we were going over this, I forget we were on wax or not, you was like, yeah, but she beat her before, but that was before she was Arena. And I didn't disagree with you. I thought that Arena would win in 3. I did not think that Amanda would hold on to finish her off. So I will go ahead. That's
the part. Okay, that's the part right there. So Amanda has, it's a couple things, right? So Amanda has brought on a new physio into her camp. Sure. And this is kind of a big deal. She's in April, right? So the Amanda that we saw at the Australian Open, right? And then the one that we saw, like she won, was it Doha? And then
I think so. I remember that.
Had a tricky one, had a little bit rough spring after that. But she's a different player now because she's actually able to practice more. Like she was in a rhythm where she was. I can post a link to the article that I read, but she was in a space where she could practice for an hour, and that was about it.
Oh wow!
Because it just hurt. Her body was not like in shape to practice longer than that. So and now she's up to the point where she can practice for 3 hours a day. Which allows her to be stronger towards the back end of these tournaments, right? And so I think that's
your point later in the tournament and later in these tough matches, right?
She hit a third wind in that match. Like come second set, I was like, man, she looks dead. Yeah. Like she looks dead tired, and then got it back together, and then was able to actually surge in the third before she got a little nervous, and then was able to close it out. But so my original reason for not thinking about this match not like being as competitive as it ended up being is one that I've seen Sabalenka dictate so much over the last 18 months, and only one time have I seen someone punch back with the same amount of force and put her on her back foot.
And her initials were MK. Yeah,
MK, right, on hardcourt. But then also you look back to the French Open when these two met in the French Open. I think it was the quarterfinals, quarterfinals. But that's on clay, so it's a little bit different. And, once we get on clay, a little slower surface, Sabalenka's footwork and her movement give her the advantage there, right? So thinking about, there's two things that stood out. One, the forehand. Yeah. It stood up a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Amanda's
forehand. Amanda's forehand. Yeah.
Much bigger than people give her credit for.
Yeah, and that is a function of her footwork and her fitness being so much better than it was 3 months ago.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So that's important.
She could always hit it, but couldn't always hit it that clean, that long, and that big in on the move. I'm with
best,
you on that.
The best movers are the best players, right?
100%.
If you want to produce a good shot, you need to be in a position to do so,
especially against Arena Sabalenka.
Exactly. And then the serve.
Yeah.
Her first serve, she served fantastic. And when she makes first serves, she goes big. And then where do you want to check down to, like as a returner? Like you big first serve and block back to the backhand. Sorry, points over. Right. And then also if you can get it, if you're okay, I pushed the forehand a little bit. Okay, she's hitting that forehand with conviction. So like she's turned into like she might be on grass a tougher first strike player than Arena is, and I hadn't considered that as a possibility.
Right. I was just pulling up the stats here. Keep going.
Once that started to play out, I was like, oh, okay. Well, some of the things that I thought would be a problem for Amanda, once we get outside the single sidelines, right? Those are the points that Arena was winning. Right. But we weren't seeing that many of them. Amanda was able to keep it lateral. Keep it linear. Between the lines.
Yep.
Yeah, and really step in. And I mean, I don't think we talk enough. I know people talk about it a lot, but her backhand should be in the Louvre. That thing is gorgeous. Open stance, step up,
inside out, inside in.
We talked about this a couple weeks back. You said one of the reasons you can't dictate with the backhand, you can't hit a buggy whip, and you can't hit it off the court, like angle off the court. I saw her hit one open stance, heavy angle off the court. I was like, jeez.
On that passing shot where she kind of got jammed and went inside out with it. She did a return like that too. I told you months ago, Alvin, I was mentioning this, and only because I had seen it. It may have been Doha that I was watching, but I remember her back in juniors. Alvin, her backhand was just all day. And I remember her doing a backhand one time. I watched her do a point. She literally, within a set, hit about every type of backhand that was possible to hit. Angle, rip, swing and volley, inside out rip. I mean, all of them. And when you get that, you're world class. She hit a backhand, I call it the sweep, where you take a backhand almost somewhat, it's like an aggressive closed stance where you're taking a big step across with the right foot, and you're just rocking this ball through the court on the other corner, hitting the dead corner. Like you're just daring somebody you're going all in. It's like you're putting your chips all in and you're standing up on the table. She hit that ball probably 7 times. Alvin, if that ball lands a foot or so from the baseline, hit it close to 100 miles an hour, there is nothing you can do if that ball lands. She hit that ball 7 or 8 times, Alvin, off that backhand corner. And I don't think Arena had seen that level of pace off the backhand. She's seen Madison's forehand, and Madison's got a bigger forehand than Arena does. She's seen Coco counter that ball and literally add pace to a pace ball, which is another mutant ability. But she hasn't seen anybody with her height, her power, bring that ball back bigger than she can hit off the backhand wing. Yeah. And I felt like that was a match where, not going to say she possesses all of the superlatives of Arena, but on grass and on that matchup, I felt like that was a very, very tough matchup for Arena in that sense, because she developed so many points and constructs so many points with the ball to the backhand first. And that's just a non-starter for a girl like Amanda who has that backhand. So I wanted to bring out one point too. It wasn't something that it wasn't huge, but it was something that I thought of was kind of interesting. The stats bore out 68% on the first serve. Now, she won, obviously, 68% of her first serve points as well, which shows you the serves was there. And Amanda was right there at 63. Neither of them served phenomenally well. I think there was 2 aces for Amanda and 6 for Arena. 5 double faults for Amanda. Probably 2 or 3 of them happened late in the third when she got a case of the yip, which is very understandable. First time semi and obviously playing the world number 1. Arena had 4 double faults, right? So she wasn't exactly, and 68%. So that's a little low for a couple of girls a couple of women, that hit the ball pretty big off both wings. But I say it to say, this is what was interesting, and this is where the return comes in. She only won 42% of her second serve points. Now, look at those two combined. I'm only serving 68% only. That's not bad. But in the semi, that may not be good enough. And then I'm only winning 42%, right?
Right. Well, that's what we talked about, right? Like
of the second serve. So now you look, and here is on the other hand of that, 63%, which is 5 below Arena's on the serve, but won 57% of her second serve points. So when Arena jumped on that return, but went to the backhand, to your point, non-starter. I mean, absolute non-starter. She tagged that ball and return fire and was back in it often, was better off after she had returned fire off that return. So those are two things that I thought made the difference in that match from what I saw.
Yeah, and almost you see that at the end of the match too. Like she was almost better off returning for the match than she was serving for the match. Right?
100%,
yeah.
100%.
One thing that you mentioned that I wanted to bring up is you mentioned, Amanda in juniors, and that's when I was actually first introduced to her. So when I was working in tennis, kind of in that space when this was like probably 2016, 2017, something like that. And I wasn't watching a lot of women's tennis. Like quite honestly, I was not like as involved in that side from a fan standpoint. I was working in tennis, but not necessarily, paying attention as much to the women's side as I do these days. But one of my coworkers, Ashley, shout out Ashley Spicer. We need to get Spicer on the pod sometime. Mm-hmm. You've met Spicer. We had dinner together in Tulsa, I believe, one year. Anyways, she was like, "You need to check out this girl, Amanda Anisimova. Like you're gonna like her game." And I ended up catching her at Eddie Her. Like again, go watch some high level international junior tennis, and you are bound to see the future. I saw Taylor Fritz at that tournament. I saw Anisimova. I saw Alex Zverev in that tournament. All these guys. Oh, yeah, it's a good thing. Francis at the tournament. But I remember watching her, and I was like, her head just doesn't move when she hits backhands. Yeah. Like it is the most technically sound thing of beauty. Yep. Like loose hips, full shoulder rotation. Put a cup of coffee on her head, and not a drip's coming out. Like it is. Yep. It's. I mean, I hit a pretty decent backhand, so when I see one, I'm like, that's special.
Where you almost look effortless, and you're getting about 110% of it out. Yeah, you're putting in 50 to 60 or so it looks, right? And the timing and the connection, that kinetic chain is just firing across all cylinders. Remember the old school basketball game where when the player was starting to get hot,
NBA Jam.
NBA Jam when the flames would come on when start coming on the basketball. I mean, when they're on fire. That's what it looks like when she's bringing that racket through. You're like, oh no, here we go. I mean,
and she used to play with the old blue bat a lot too. Just juiced, just juiced.
I mean, how it's.
But yeah, that was a really really interesting match. I learned a lot about Amanda Anisimova. I think the world.
I think Amanda learned a lot about Amanda in that match. Let's be honest.
And she's cool, man. She's cool. Like she doesn't play. Like she's not getting caught up in the nonsense. Yeah. She had a little back and forth with Mira Andreeva earlier in the spring, and there was an incident. They were playing. I think it might have been in Doha. It might have been like semifinals, quarterfinals of that tournament. Maybe the tournament after, but she cut her finger, I think, in the second set or third set or something like that, or had a blister, and it was at a time in the match where I think Andreeva was like in a groove. So she goes to take a medical timeout. And it might have been during a game. But she gets her finger worked on. She comes back out. She's like, I'm sorry, whatever. And then in the post, she ends up winning the match. In the post-match interview, Mira is, she's a little upset. She mentions, and then she takes a break in the middle of the thing and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And then I think that night or the next day, Amanda takes a picture of her finger, like on Instagram, like showing how bad it was. Right. But it's like, it's the middle finger, so she just takes it like this. I was like, that's...
wanted to show you my finger.
That's icy. That's icy. I respect that. I respect that. Freehold Township, Pennsylvania, stand up.
Absolutely. Making sure you saw the right finger.
Yeah. And, it's kind of moving forward on that. We talked about this at the end of last year in our maybe 2025 preview about the American women,
right?
And what they're, where they are right now, how they're. I think we both on the same side. Like they're doing a lot of positive things right now with the 100%. Amount that we have in the top 50, the amount that we have in the top 20.
Yep.
We didn't. I mean, this is in January when we had this conversation. We've gone back to back to back American women in Grand Slam finals. We've had 4 since JPEG and the U.S. Open finals,
100%,
right?
100%.
With the last 2 going to Madison and then Coco this year. And now Amanda's in the final. Four different women, 4 straight Grand Slam finals.
That's huge
for the States.
Huge. And each of them took a different path to get there, right? Each of them I think there's a lot to be said for that. I really hope, and I know a lot of the players in player development, a lot of the coaches in player development, I really hope they take a look at that and just continue to really push the different ways one can get there. I don't think there's a one size fits all. I never have. Each player can do it a different way and keep pushing all the ways, right? If there's 4 different ways, push all 4 ways. You know what I mean? Give me 4 to 8 in that through that particular tunnel every year if you can, and just keep those pipelines full. Please don't let's not forget how these players arrived where they are and keep making that part happen, because that's just more water in the hose. And when you start getting that, there's just going to be more pressure, more players coming behind it, and they're going to keep seeing a different version of them out there as well. And I just feel like sometimes, and then you have these players up there to help mentor the next group, and it just keeps going. I just look forward to that. I hope that the men can do the same thing. The men have done a great job, don't get me wrong. Maybe not in the Grand Slam final per se.
Maybe the finals, but they're around.
But they're around. They're relevant. You're one of your favorite expressions. They're in the conversation, and
absolutely,
I think that's a huge thing. We were not in that conversation, and quite frankly, since the likes of Andy Roddick, and what was it, 03? We have not had a lot of men that are battling for semis and finals in slams, and the great John Isner and others, even Query and others who played some great tennis. They weren't necessarily, quarter semis, finals, or favorite to reach, right? Those levels in the big tournaments. And I feel like that's something that I'm really happy to see these guys, even Fritz, even though he had a bit of a buzzsaw today with Carlos, he still, I felt like, certainly earned his seed and looked good on the grass, Alvin. God, he looked good.
Oh no, we're saving the Fritz talk for later. I got words. I got words for Taylor Fritz.
But just again, to your point, it was great. It was great to see. Quick word on the preview for that match. What do you think you'll see? And I'm talking about Amanda and Iga. We said this in the Sabalenka and Anisimova match. I said Arena's forehand to Amanda's backhand is going to cancel each other out, right? I knew that going in. I just, knowing tennis the way I do, knowing their games the way I do, I said I thought it was going to come down to Amanda's forehand and Arena's backhand, or a second serve, who can hold the second serve points and who can hold and make more first serves. It bore out. I don't know if I was, I'm certainly not, any prophet. I was just looking at tendencies and what I know from women's tennis. I know the two of those games pretty well. It bore out kind of like I thought, just with a little bit of a different ending, obviously with Amanda winning out in 3 versus Arena. I look into this match. I think we both pretty much nailed the Bencic and Świątek match. In this one here, I think Amanda's serve is bigger than Iga may realize. And I think that, again, if she goes that inside into the backhand, she better hit that skinny cross wider than the sideline, or she too could find herself running out of time by pulling that skinny cross and getting it redirected back in the corner where she can't handle it. And if she short hops it like she's prone to do by hugging the baseline so close, Amanda will go behind her, go in front of her, and come forward. And she's very adept at the net. And that, to me, is a bit of a weird one, because you now get hurt playing your game. In other words, if she hits her serve, we know Iga's going to take it early, and she pulls it inside in, which she does very, very well. But she's going to do that to her backhand, which we know that's Amanda's secret sauce. So I say that to say, if Amanda can get to that ball in that corner, nail that ball completely cross court like the hypotenuse, completely diagonal, what will then happen to Iga in court position terms? I think she's going to be hurt, Alvin. Now, the flip side, this match to me will go on break a lot, if I had to guess. This will be constantly on break. It's going to be a matter of who holds. It's going to have to. I haven't seen Iga go inside out a ton with that backhand because she takes it so early. And I also think that the forehand of Amanda is much better than you think it is. So there's not really a weak wing. perhaps drop shots, perhaps some short balls. But even then, that's not Iga's specialty. She's not a drop shot queen. So
that's not in her bag.
This match could be very, very tricky for Iga because, again, what she does, and does very well, matches up well to those few things, especially on that backhand side for Amanda. I'm calling Amanda in 3, not so much for the upset in the championship, but more for, I'm not sure Iga's seen that matchup as often, and she may just force herself a bit too much in that situation because of that. What do you say?
So I like that. This is why I like us being here, because we look at the same thing from different aspects.
Yep,
you've got the crown for the micro and the tactics.
I'm all day micro, right? and rock paper scissors.
I go macro, which allows me. I can step into that space, but it allows me to go macro and kind of feel the big picture stuff.
All right, big picture. What am I missing?
Amanda did mention that she felt like she wouldn't really have many nerves kind of coming in this match because although she's never been to a Grand Slam final, she's been in enough big matches, right? And I do feel like Amanda is going to show up big. She's a pretty calm customer. Yes, she gets a little squirrely towards the tight situations, but everyone does. There's a difference though between a big semifinal, like in a Grand Slam, and a final of the Grand Slam.
Okay.
Ain't nobody else around. Nobody else is around. When you're watching on TV, the stadium is packed. It's full.
But the rest of the complex is wide.
Ain't nobody else
completely
there.
Empty for sure.
It's the weirdest thing. In the beginning of the tournament, there are
that one year. I want to say it was 2004 in the Open Sco. It got to the semis, and we were there. And I'm walking to the locker room, and I'm like, "Where's everybody?" And he made that comment to me, and he's like, "No one's here."
He said it I think he mentioned in his podcast, one of his podcasts this week. But I've seen it firsthand. I'll show you an open. I was there kind of back in 2014, 2015, whatever it was. Quarterfinals. It's like you're walking around. It's like, man, it's like there's nobody here.
Right.
It's like because there's no one here.
Because there's no one here.
all the matches are happening in there. Like everything that you see
the match,
and experience
in some cases, not matches. The match.
Right. There's match one, there's the next one on, the next one on. Those are all the matches for the day. Save for some junior matches out here, and sometimes there's a wheelchair match. But all the action is happening in there, multiplied by a few on the very last 2 days of the tournament, right? And then there's this whole the pomp and circumstance of a Wimbledon final over all the other Grand Slams. U.S. Open finals raucous. There's jets flying and bands playing. There's a show. It's a show. Yeah. The Wimbledon final
jets are flying anyway. It's right.
True. That's true. Yeah. But the Wimbledon final, there's a lot of procedure that happens. There's a very long walk that happens. There's there are royalty there, and they are presented. It's like a whole thing, and then you're like, oh, now I got to play a tennis match. Yeah. It's very different than okay, you're on. Okay, I walk to the thing. How about there? But Iga's been there before. Not necessarily at Wimbledon, but she's been in this, as someone else made the comment, she's been in the stillness of a pre-Grand Slam final moment.
Sure.
And so even just knowing it exists versus having been through it versus not having been through it. Okay, let's assume she conquers that. Right. Okay. Iga's second serve, right? Iga's going to have to serve well. She's going to have to make a lot of first serves.
Big and well.
Yes. And you mentioned, the same thing is going to be said for Amanda, right? But I do think Amanda is going to be able to be more aggressive on Iga's first serve than Iga's going to be able to be on Amanda's first.
I agree with that.
The part about the backhand and the court positioning, I'm pissed that you stole that from me. You didn't steal it. You just said it before me. But we see things similarly.
Right.
Iga wants to hug the baseline and dictate from in front of the baseline. She's okay taking that back, not running around the forehand and hitting that backhand from the inside middle
early.
But like you said, where's she going to go with that? That's a hard ball to hit down the line, right?
Yep.
Over into the deuce court corner. Yep. She wants to attack it back to the back end. And like you said, Amanda is going to hit that ball, and now Iga's standing 3 feet inside the baseline. Yep. When you're going to pick that ball up with a forehand, now you're done, right? Yep. So, that's going to be I think Iga, the thing that I've seen from her in the last few weeks is that she seems a little more content with almost playing clay court style Iga tennis on grass court. She's found the balance. In the same way Rafa did at some point. Like he found the balance. Like I don't have to hit the forehand Mach 20 off the first ball because I'm on grass. The things that I do well.
Right. My ball will be enough.
My ball will be enough.
Sure.
A la Carlos Alcaraz. My ball will be enough. And I think if she gets to that place and allows herself to almost settle in a little behind the baseline so that she can catch Amanda's ball in front of her, Iga is a better mover than Arena.
I agree with
right?
Than Amanda. Yep.
No. I'm looking at the comparison of the matchups. Iga is a better mover than Arena. I think she's better. She's better in the corners.
Yep.
I think
I would
she'll
say
be
Arena's
able
a better
to
mover than Amanda. I mean, to be
Oh,
fair.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right,
But like from a comparison standpoint, like I think she'll be a little more comfortable. While she can't hurt Amanda in the same way that Arena can, she can absorb Amanda's pace probably in the corners better than Arena could.
I agree with that.
Now, what does that mean? I still feel like this is Iga's to win.
Okay.
I still feel like that's the case.
Okay.
I feel like it's Amanda's going to be forced to execute all match long. And there are some things that, if you look at the comparison of the semifinal, there's some things that Arena just did not get done. Like she was not tenacious in the face of, like, not necessarily pressure, but like there were times where she was on the back foot when she shouldn't have been. And I think Iga's probably in the position.
Some would say that was due to direct application of return force. But I hear your point.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think the question I want to ask you is, how is Iga going to beat her another way? If you can help me understand that off of serving first strike, off of coming forward, what is she going to bring her in? Is she going to expose foot speed or full court coverage, like Carlos did against Taylor? I'm not tipping to it. I just want to put it out there.
We'll get there
because I felt like that was a very strong tactic used against a big hitter who hit spots from the serve, and I felt like Carlos had said, but you know what? Here's what you can't do. And I'm going to magnify that weakness a lot. And I don't know if Iga has that ability. At least I haven't seen it. And I've watched a lot of Iga Świątek matches. I've never seen her that many droppers or drop volleys or come forward. So that's kind of my thing, is to say, if you could tell me how you know and give me an example or two of what's happened, I'd be right with you. I just haven't seen it.
The thing that I mentioned about if Arena can get Amanda outside of the singles lines, right? I think Iga's natural ball does that better than Arena's ball actually does.
Okay.
I think, and then I also think that Amanda had Arena's ball almost was perfect for Amanda.
I agree.
Like she hits it hard, but Amanda is very calm at contact, and that ball was kind of right in her pocket. I don't think Iga's ball is going to be as easy for Amanda to square up, particularly on the forehand side. She'll square up Carlos Alcaraz's ball on the backhand side, right? Whatever. But on the forehand side, I think Iga can probably hurt her there more. And then once she figures it out, that's a good place to go. I think she will be a little more like a dog with a bone.
Sure.
Where Arena was a little more stubborn about it.
Right. Stubborn and shocked by the outcome. I hear you. I think it remains to be seen. I will agree, disagree. I think Iga's ball is actually spinnier, and that actually hurts her more. And I think Iga Arena hits it, and it has shape. And that shape bounces into the drive of Amanda's.
Right.
Iga's ball's not as big. So in my opinion, that's actually going to hurt Iga, because now Amanda gets to actually step into the court and go through with the ball more. It may take her a game or two to find that pace and to find the recipe, find that right balance. But her ball did not land short against Arena Sabalenka. and her ball swept through the deep part of the court against one of the hardest hitters in the game. So you tell me a person who hits it a little thinner, who hugs the court more, is going to have more of an impact on the ball? She better get it wide. That's all I have to say. If she does it, she'll be in for a very rude awakening that her ball will be tagged. And that's not so much from the standpoint that Amanda's ball is that big. She's not a huge striker like Madison. Madison hits one of the prettiest, cleanest balls I've ever seen in female form. We're talking about just how she happens to strike it so clean off of the incoming ball. And I'm telling you that Iga takes it earlier than almost any girl on tour, save for maybe Jasmine Paolini, you know what I mean? So With that said, where are you going to be? You're going to be 3 feet inside the court upon landing. And so that's all I'm saying. And so if that 3 feet of the court is where her ball's landing back. Woo.
Right. So in the not the prediction that you gave, but you said you think it's going to go 3 sets, and you think Amanda's going to take it in 3 sets. In the set that she loses, what is Iga going to do well then?
I think it'll be in the first set, if anything, and it'll just take Amanda that long to kind of figure it out. If I'm rooting for Amanda, and she plays very well, I think that it will be a tiebreak first, and she'll figure it out, and it'll be a fairly routine second, a tough, albeit, but a fairly routine second, just because I don't see, save for trying harder, trying more things, and hitting it bigger and earlier. I just don't see. I don't
how
see
Iga's going to hurt her.
How Iga, not hurt her or change is more to my point, and that's more why I'm saying what I'm saying. I hope that I'm very pleasantly surprised. I hope I get on with you on the wrap up and say, who knew that Iga had a slice? I hope we come back and we start saying, who knew Iga had a phenomenal drop volley? You know, I'm hoping I'm hearing that, right? Because if so, that's great for her game. Arena, to her credit, has found different ways and different shots, you know, that she's incorporated in her game, which I think has been a very unsung part of her game, her overall game development, where I haven't seen that. And if anything, Iga's pace has picked up off her serve. And to me, that actually might just hurt her in this case. Hitting too thin and spinny, might have almost helped her, but she hit the ball a little bigger now and serving bigger. That almost helps Amanda. I hate to say it. From what I see, and I hope I'm wrong for all the Iga fans out there.
If Iga can find some depth, though, like find the depth and still produce that spin, like that's when it starts to get tricky.
I agree.
Like maybe she's not
as
aggressive with her core position. Right. Oh yeah, it's gonna.
We know she's gonna compete. We know she won't give up. There is no quit in her whatsoever. And yes, she has all the experience of multiple Grand Slams. We know that. This is not about. To me, this is not so much about Iga playing Amanda as much as it is. I'm looking at the matchup, the ball, the court position. What she likes to do just happens to match up very, very poorly with one of the best backhands I feel on the tour right now.
The math would say, if you look at the two players and their strengths and weaknesses on surface, should equate to something like a 55-45 advantage, maybe like a 52-48 advantage. No, to Amanda. Like Amanda,
okay. Yeah.
You would think Amanda has the advantage. Like when you just look at this woman does this well.
Sure.
This woman does this well. We are on a fast surface. It's just getting faster and drier, drier and different.
Yeah, I know what you mean. More compact.
Yeah, 5.5 times out of 10, like maybe Amanda wins this match. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know, which is great. I don't know.
Yeah, and it'll be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, we've had some fun. Man, we're in such a good place right now with tennis.
Yeah.
Like
is this helping your end of the year? I know you love the story. Is this helping your end of the year story? Is Arena coming into the Open now with a chip on her shoulder, a bigger chip, maybe a log on her shoulder now going into the U.S. Open?
Here's a funny end of the year scenario. Not that I'm cheering for it. I don't really.
Yeah,
I care. Right. When I close the book on 2025, I want to go, yeah, that made sense. But what if we find ourselves in a situation after the U.S. Open, let's say Arena doesn't win it, and someone else wins it that has not won one this year? Arena is going to end up being number 1 in the world at the end of the year. Again. And no Grand Slams. And no Grand Slams.
Pull the Caroline Wozniacki. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
That would be
fun to see. Yeah.
That'd be great for tennis, though.
She's been in to your point, the conversation, how many times now? I mean,
just
final
3 straight
the other
Grand Slam
two.
finals. Like she final one U.S. Open,
And
final
the
to
semi
Australia,
here,
final French Open, semifinal here. Like she is the most dominant player on the women's tour by far, most consistent as well. But she ain't got no trophies this year.
I'm trying to say who did that way back in the day. Was it Lindell that led the ATP in like the most Grand Slam finals with I want to say Lindell had some stupid number like 11 or 9 like Grand Slam finals that he's got several championships obviously, but like I want to say it was 9 Grand Slam finals that he did not, but was in it almost every year up until that point in time.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me and that speaks to her greatness. That she's pissed now, but that speaks to her greatness. And unfortunately, Amanda did not do that great at a few of the other slams. And unfortunately, same with Madison. And obviously, Coco lost her first round. So my point is that that winner hasn't necessarily gone on to, phenomenal better things every other tournament after. And she's been consistently in the last days of the tournament on each one.
Right. But you look at our two finalists, though, like Iga, semifinal French, final Wimbledon.
Yep.
Amanda, I'm pretty sure she lost in the quarterfinals to Arena, and now she's in the finals of this event, right? So you're starting to see, like, Coco obviously won the French, lost in the first round. JPEG's kind of been in the woods a little bit in Grand Slams this year. Whatever, it's not really about that. But I like to see players being able to convert on both surfaces. And then obviously Amanda won a Masters 1000 on hard court earlier this year. So she is slowly building.
Building a nice body of work. I mean, like, I'm very happy for her success. And anybody's been watching this podcast for a while, you guys know that I've been singing her praises even before she had this resurgence. I just from what I know of her and know from her game. And as I say, I remember her playing when she was a little bitty thing, playing my girls 12s tournament way back in the day. She was just fun to watch then. The backhand was effortless then, and it was clean. I watched her a few other tournaments over the years, Spring Nationals back when they had it back in Delray, and other tournaments that I've watched her play over the years. And I just again, it's been fun to watch her maturity and her resurgence back to the game, and obviously what she's been able to prove to herself. And whatever she did, take that time off, it was clearly it was beneficial for her. It was much needed, I'm sure, on things outside of tennis. But she looks to be in a real good place, whatever happens tomorrow. So I'm happy for her and happy for her team. They've done a phenomenal job, and it's been great for tennis to be able to watch that. Tennis is the better for it.
Yep, agreed. I think we can leave that there. I'm excited for tomorrow's match. What are you doing for tomorrow's match?
I don't know yet. I'm trying to decide what I'm doing right now. I got to take out the times and figure some things out. I've got some other things to do on my end, and I've got that intense thing I think cranks up tomorrow. Remember that intense tennis?
Intense tennis.
I think that thing is cranking. So I'm trying to figure out when they play, and they play early, like 2:00 ish. I think I got to go back and look at the schedule. But there's a match at 2:00. I think one at 7. So I need to decide what I'm doing and factor in my watching around that. When we get off,
it's 11:00 start tomorrow. Why don't you come to the house, because I'm close to intense tennis. Come to the house. We'll watch the final, and then we can go. That might
not be a bad move,
because I need to get over there. We need to go. We've had some contact with those folks over there, and I need to. You've been. I have not been in person, just due to the schedule lately. But that would be a good opportunity to go.
Pretty cool. Give them a quick plug. Any of you guys that are watching, listening, it's Intense with 2 N's, INTENN. Obviously, tennis. SE. They play 9 bolts, 9 10-minute bolts. So it's 90 minutes of tennis, but the clock runs for 10 minutes. You and an opponent play. Whoever
teams,
won,
like Team Jacksonville, Team Nashville, Team Atlanta.
Jacksonville, correct. It's teams, but it's a singles men, singles girl, ladies, singles mixed, singles doubles girls, and obviously doubles guys. But the neat thing about it is the format. So lose a point 1, hit a winner, it's 2, right? And so you're incentivized to go for a bit more, but should you lose serve. You only get 1 serve, everything counts, and it is tennis on the clock. So it's a pretty fast-paced environment. It feels like you're in a club more than it feels like you're at a tennis tournament. There's noise, there's things going on, there's hecklers, everything a tennis doesn't have, Intense has And if you guys ever get a chance to watch it streaming online, even if you don't have it in your own hometown, it's a pretty cool atmosphere. And it's tennis in a much different way than you've seen it before. Pretty exciting, pretty fun to watch. Usually you see players stalling and taking too much time. You're like, oh, serve already. And in tense, you're like, hey, man, slow down. You gotta don't blow this point. And then literally, as soon as the point is over, they're asking for the ball because they only have so much time. So it's a really neat spin on how to play.
Ooh,
and if you get a chance to watch it, you'll be pleasantly surprised how different, how fun that difference is.
And they play it in a studio, like
they play in a studio.
They set 100%. It up like in a studio with lights and stuff, and this whole thing. And I think they only have one home location. I think this is where it happens. So the teams they travel in, or some of them live here and just play for the Jacksonville team or play for the Nashville team,
play for the Atlanta team, right? Yeah.
So but it's like less than 5 miles from my house. It's like we're down the street. So anyways,
I'll get back on that, sure.
On the men's side though, we do need to. I feel like we should watch that final together. I know your Sundays are usually pretty packed, but I want to watch that final together, and then I want us to do an in-person podcast. So in the comments, if you think Torrey should come over for the men's final, and we do the in-person podcast, I got some new equipment today. I'm setting up, ready to do an in-person, maybe even live stream it. Little carrot for you there. Speaking of carrots, Jannik Sinner broke. He broke Novak.
In the words of the Iron Sheik, put him in the camel clutch, break his back, make him humble. I mean, I saw that match today. You know what? I'm going to quit listening to all this rigmarole about the elbow. He might be dinged up, might be hurt. That's like Steph Curry saying his shooting hand's a little bit is a little sore, buddy. Your boy Carrot Top played about as clinical a match as I've seen in a long time, and he just beat him in the semi of the French, which I thought was fairly clinical. I used, speaking of the word, old school Bill Walton, clinic. He put the clinic
Rest in peace,
on your
Bill
boy.
Walton. Yeah.
Yes, sir. He put the clinic on your boy Novak today, to a point where, looking at Novak's kind of shrug / smirk when he was shaking hands, was like, maybe it is time to go. Not yet, but I have completely been mastered, and you have out Djokovic me.
Yeah.
Commentator said it. I'm saying it. I'm telling you right now, I hope he doesn't play him again, because it'll continue to, I won't say tarnish the legacy. You can't tarnish 24 Grand Slams, but it's just a bad matchup, and it's getting worse.
So that's the interesting thing, right? Novak is, by all accounts, probably the third best player in the world right now.
Right.
He's at the end. Novak
by a far margin.
Well, I mean, he did beat Carlos in Australia. Like, he did beat him, in a Grand Slam.
More to the 4 through.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I'll come back to that. Yeah. I agree with you.
Don't you bring up that Lorenzo Musetti business right now.
Oh,
please. Come on now.
About Lorenzo. I told you we have a Taylor Fritz segment to come on to later. But the issue is, and I've taken to listening and watching these post-match player conferences, or whatever, press conferences, and usually they're worthless, but sometimes you get a thing or two that makes you go, huh. And Novak's post-match press conference today was very, they just come off the court, right? So they haven't really had much time to process. Well, sometimes they're at the court. Sometimes they go shower, get treatment, that calm down, and then come in. So, like, depending on the distance between match end and press conference, you kind of get different outlooks. But Novak was very reflective in that, like, I don't feel like this is my last Wimbledon. He's like, the hard part is, like, I do a better job of taking care of my body than anyone, but it seems to not be enough for me to be where I need to be in match 6 of a Grand Slam. He's like, by the time I get here, because you look back at it though, right? So he's had he last year French Open, right? He gets hurt, right? Let's just say that's an injury, right? Gets through Wimbledon, had a shaky. Did he have a shaky U.S. Open? He wasn't great at the U.S. Open last year either.
Yep.
Australian Open didn't finish his match against Zverev, right? French Open, I don't think that was an issue there. I think he just got beat by Sinner, right? But you come into this tournament, yeah, he was a little ginger early, but he said he just didn't feel great. And it's like, yeah, bro, you're 38. Like, you're not going to feel great.
38. You're playing the younger, better, newer version of yourself. Alvin, I hear you.
And he's also he's just not fresh on day 12 of a Grand Slam. Like, you're not ready to go.
And no one is, at least all if you're 38.
Right.
Alvin, let's cut through the minutia here. He got beat down. He got countered, out-hit, out-hustled, and your boy Carrot Top has found out he can slide on the grass. He had some of the best slides today.
We're going to come back to that too.
It was amazing, his sliding. He was slipping and sliding even in the first week, Alvin.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's the thing that he.
He's on skates now, bro. He's on skates.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Fine. I'm more worried about Carlos tomorrow because or Sunday due to the skates. Alvin, he has learned to control the slides everywhere on the court. He's sliding for droppers. He's sliding out wide, and that's only helping his footing. I told you he was very normal on the grass. Footing just wasn't quite there. And you were talking about the slickness and the patches and the surface squares up over the course tournament, which I hear you. I did not see him slide this well until today.
Yeah, it's a feature. It's not the whole product. It's a thing. Like, it's
maybe
what he
not.
Can do.
But when you move well and your game's based on movement, and you had not been moving well, and now you're moving better. How many slap points on line did he have today against Novak? Because
against the old guy,
against the old guy,
that couldn't cover.
Like his footing was there, and his footing was better. That's all I'm saying.
It's that matchup. Like, it's less about the matchup, right? Yeah, he's Novak can't hurt him. He just can't hurt him. He can't hurt him.
Period.
If this is what he can't hurt him. And Novak is well past his prime at this point, and when compared to someone who is that good and still moving toward his prime, like, okay, all right, I Alvin Owusu said a thing that I thought Novak was going to beat him. That was stupid. Yeah. That was dumb. That was that was a put that take in a bag in the trash. It was garbage. I'm gonna let you. It was hopeful. It was hopeful.
Beating up on yourself because it's fun. I love listening to it. But I want to say when you get finished, and I'll let you do it.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'll say I was wrong. I'm not gonna tear down my own stature here.
The other past his prime is no. That's understood. Alvin, he is still number 3 in the world with everybody else.
Yeah.
I feel like Novak is here and thinking and understand. I'm talking about, let's just say 3 o'clock in terms of far right to this situation.
Okay.
Your comment may have been far left at 9 o'clock in the sense of things for Novak, right? But I think 12 o'clock is somewhere in the middle. Novak is making the comment that he's not fresh at the end toward the end of a Grand Slam. Well, of course, you're 38, and you're phenomenal 38, by the way. But you're still 38. You're not going to be fresh on day 12. You were looking like I was looking, and most was looking. Sinner did almost get beat down by Grigor. We don't know what would have happened had Grigor not got hurt.
Sure.
He hasn't looked great. The elbow, this, that, and the third. Novak's looking better. This might be his best chance. He's great on grass. He's won 7 of these, right? And so on and so on and so on. Easy to pontificate on what that may look like. In the middle is the answer. He's not ever going to be that fresh. He's not ever going to beat these 2 guys routinely ever again. Could he beat them once in some strange situation and scenario? Of course. There's one. It's possible. It's not likely. And I think the more he keeps playing, the matchup is getting worse. He's getting worse. He's losing worse to Carlos. I hear that he beat him before. He beat him whatever at the Open. Of course. He's Novak Djokovic. He can beat anybody. However, you have to now understand the 12 o'clock I'm speaking to is not the middle and the truth. It's Carlos and Jannik are the two best players in the world, and they are the new combined Novak, Fed, and Rafa of our time. And right in front of our very eyes, we're watching history, Alvin. These two guys are taking the game to the next level. And everybody else, including the former Grand Slam, the GOAT, is having to watch and pay homage. And I think that's what I'm saying. It's more about, to your point, it's more about those two than about Novak.
Isn't it poetic that Novak now, let's say Novak's on the way out, right? He's on the way out. I don't know where the door is, but it's...
Right. He don't know where the door is.
Probably not today.
Right.
It's not today, but it's there. He's going to go out as the third best. When we got Novak 20 years ago, he started off as the third.
Right.
He broke it up. He ascended.
Yep.
And now he's coming down, going out the same door he came in, which is, and there's some other similarities. Like they mentioned today, like Novak, his first time qualifying for the French Open was for Wimbledon was 2005. And then he won it 5 years later in 2010.
Right.
Jannik's first Wimbledon was about 5 years ago. It took him 5 years to get to the final.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how long it takes to get really, really good on this.
Yeah.
Carlos Alcaraz just showed up. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. I get it. No, this is good. This looks like fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you. Talking about just showing up and it being fun, I played Padel yesterday for the first time.
Oh, how'd it go? You liked it?
Ooh.
I knew you liked it. I knew you'd like it.
Oh, I played with 3 other tennis players, and they usually play together at ITP. Old ITA is now ITP.
Yep.
Social racket sports paradise. I was going off the wall early, overhead smash. I was like, quick read, turn around, off the wall, come back, switch hands if I need to.
Yeah, right,
I hit a tweener lob off the wall once. Right. I was like, this is like when Travis and I used to screw around in the garage playing off the wall. Like, I get this. This is fun. I had so much fun. So much fun.
Padel is, and if people haven't played, you need to give a shout out to ITP and Network they had going on there with Candace and the crew. It just looks amazing. I've been playing around with the Padels for a while, and we played platform tennis a lot up at Wimbledon for many years.
Okay.
And which is very similar. It's just a cage instead of walls, but very similar. You can overhand serve, not underhand. But I'm going to get my certification for Padel in Costa Rica in November, so I'm looking forward to it. But it is just a fun game, and the paddle, the sound that ball makes when you rock a volley and stick it clean. It's just, and the point can go on forever. I mean, because it doesn't really. The harder you hit, it's almost the worse. You almost have to. You really got to know what you're doing and place it, get it toward the corner, and let it go off the other wall. And kind of die in that corner. It's you really can't put it away like you might think. And more in tennis, at least not in normal tennis fashion. But it's a lot of fun. And if you like volleying and you like doubles, you will love. Yeah,
that's me all day. And I was sliding around, and I'm going to be athletic, and all a 360-degree radius. It was so much fun. If I play tennis, if let's say in a good week, if I hit 3 times, I would be fine if I hit twice and played Padel on the third day. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
When I was over at your house, a couple of your friends were asking what's Padel like, and I'm like, it's like the best parts of tennis times 5. I mean, it's just the best part of doubles anyway. Times 5. If you like to volley, if you like to hit overheads, if you like coming forward, if you like a lot of action, you just can't find. Where pickleball to me is just a life-size version of or stand-up version of ping pong. You know what I mean? It's just,
and they have pickleball courts there, and there's people playing pickle. I'm diving around, jumping over, and then I'm watching them play, and I'm like, I'm never doing that. I'm not doing that. If I can do this, I'm never going to do that.
I was telling one of your friends that I was like, if tennis is in the middle, I was like, Padel's over here and pickleball is way on that side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There could not be more different. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's all fun.
Yeah,
they're all fun in their own right. I haven't played at ITP, but I'm looking forward to getting at one of the places that I was working at. They had Padel courts there, and I loved it there. I just loved the game itself. It's fun. I want to play more.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and
Good for you. Good for you for playing.
I have entertained at times the idea of playing pickleball, as I can do it with like anyone, like especially when
Right.
I travel.
Aaron
Like
and
you can't. It's
the
hard
kids
to it's hard to find people to play tennis with because of a relative level. But
Yep.
pickleball, like anyone can play with anyone, more or less. But
Yep.
I was trying to explain to some friends last night at dinner. They're like, "Oh, well, we can play Padel together." I was like, "No, you can't play Padel with me because it's a lot closer to tennis, and I'm gonna hit you with the ball. Like,
Right,
and
we'll look forward to it.
Yeah. It's not like a you just jump in, and if everyone's pretty decent, or like especially tennis players, it's like you need to be at that level to hang with that level.
Right. A non-tennis player can hang in pickleball, which is I think was what frustrates tennis players. Where in Padel, if you know what I'm saying, if in Padel, if you're already if you're already not quite, you're close to being black belt level, so to speak, in tennis, Padel will reward that. If you're not, buddy, you have a strong learning curve in Padel, because then you add that plus walls. You know what I mean? Which for most people, that's not that. It's not inherently, it doesn't always make sense. My first 3 or 4 times playing platform, I'm still going to the wall as the ball is going the other way. It took me the longest to just know to move the other way and allow the ball to come off the wall, just the retrieving instinct. And so that took me a little bit. Once I finally got that down, it was a lot simpler, but you got to be ahead of it, right? You just got to be ahead of it. But anyway, that's I'm happy that you played it. Tell me about this Taylor Fritz stuff. You've got me concerned about, because I'm wanting to know what we saw different, and but you haven't tipped your hat yet which way you're going with Taylor Fritz.
So, okay, in this particular match, I took some notes. Right. Okay. Outside of that first service game, I think Taylor played great. I think Taylor pretty much played about as well as Taylor can play, given the set of skills he possesses. Right. He lacks the skills to win what I call the non-traditional or non-standard points, right? If they get kind of like up in front and they have to be kind of handsy or whatever, he doesn't really like to come in and like force net opportunities. So like he wants the bang from the baseline, and he's pretty good at it, right? He's pretty good at it. He can spot serve with pace. I thought he returned phenomenally. Like he put a lot of pressure on Carlos's second serve specifically. Backhand returns. I cannot emphasize enough how well he hit that backhand return today, which gave him.
He might be one of the better American returners on grass that we've had, and that's with. I put him up there with the likes of Andre. I would even put who had a really, really good backhand return. On the men's side, that was
American man with a good backhander. Actually, Ginepri had a pretty good backhand
return. I was going to say
too.
Neps is who kind of comes to mind. My point is, and for a guy that's, in my opinion, doesn't have that great of a backhand, he's got a really good backhand return.
And it's because he can generate speed off of a very short tape back on both wings, which I think looks even better on grass when he makes contact. So
couldn't agree more. I saw him here in Atlanta, and he looked very, dare I say, slow. And I'm not saying he's a slow player. I'm just saying he looked a little bit slow. The slower the court, to me, the slower he is. But his returns make him look so much better and on the grass, and he just knows to square up, get his balance, and hit the ball. Keep going. I don't want to change.
Yeah. Your line of thought. And I think also in his post-match press conference, he was one of the ones that took some time and then came back, and he was so cerebral about the way that he's looking at the matchup with himself and Carlos, and the difference between Carlos and Jannik. And he made some points about, like, he's like, when he plays against Jannik, that one is a little more straightforward because you know what Jannik's going to do. He just does it really, really well. Right? They almost play a similar game style. It's just that Jannik's footwork is so much better, allows him to hit it so much bigger, right? So that will throw you off a bit. He said the thing with Carlos is that Carlos has so many different ways he can beat you. And he's like, when the court gets slow, he moves so much better than Taylor does that he gets him out of position, and it just becomes a very, very bad matchup for him. Grass is the best opportunity for him. But
100%.
even then, he has to almost be perfect because Carlos also makes adjustments very well. So Taylor mentioned that like he felt like he was on top of Carlos's second serve, but then Carlos got a read on that and then just started bombing like low 120s and then mixing up with like a heavy kicker at like 85 miles an hour and got him out of rhythm. So, early break, Carlos serves out fine, right? I think he got Carlos had about a 5-6 minute bad stretch at 5-all and 5-6 in the second set, where he just kind of like took a brain dump, missed second serve returns like crazy.
As he's apt to do. Yeah.
Yes, that will happen. That will happen to him. And it did. And then like Carlos. This is why the Rublev match was so entertaining and why Carlos was so good, because Rublev gave him enough balls to run around and hit. Carlos wants to run around and do stuff. Like just run around and do stuff. It gets him jacked up, and then like then the magic starts flowing out of his body, right?
Yeah.
He never really got a chance to get loose and start doing stuff until the third set, right? That's kind of when they both got into it. Points got a little longer, and then Carlos pulled off some magic, got pumped up, and then ran. Taylor had his chances, right?
Yep.
He definitely had his chances, especially in that breaker. He had set points, right? And I was texting with a buddy during the fourth set. I was like, it's weird that Carlos is obviously winning this match, but we are one bad service game away from this going 5. And then once it goes 5, I got no idea.
Match.
We could be looking at a day where Taylor Fritz is in the final of Wimbledon, and it changes my entire Sunday, right? Because we'll get to that. We'll get to that stuff right there. But my takeaway was like, Taylor gets it. He gets it. He's not as far from these guys as Ben is. And that was kind of like when I watched Ben play Jannik and even heard his comments afterwards, it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel like Ben's going to be able to close that gap.
That's interesting.
But Taylor
not
has
where
a
I
chance.
expected you to go with this.
I know. Taylor has a chance to pull it off here at Wimbledon one day. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen on hard. It's not going to happen on clay. And he knows that. He knows that the foot speed issue, like it's going to be too many balls in a point. But he has a legitimate chance here because I saw it. I watched it. I was like, Taylor Fritz, he could win this match. He could after he got broken, from the time he got broken first game of the first set, to blowing some chances in the tiebreaker in that fourth set. I was like, this is not he just didn't execute in a couple spots. This is not a like he doesn't have a chance. Like he's right here in this match.
I will say I took more stock in the third set routine. Anytime it got past serve first strike, return first strike scenarios. Every longer point was Carlos, period. It just so happened, and I'm looking at the stats, 80% of first serve points won for Taylor. Taylor had 19 aces, Alvin. 19.
Yeah, but that's
a pretty good. That's a pretty good amount, Alvin. That's what I'm saying.
But that's repeatable for him. That's within him, though.
I don't disagree. What I'm saying is that that's why he held so much. And the reason why it was so close. And in the second and in the fourth, he served first, right? So I just feel like
that's a big one.
You have to look at that. You're playing downhill at that point, right? You're not playing uphill.
Well, he also served first in the first set too, and got broken.
And got broke. But to your point, I only say it to say, right? He can hold serve with the best of them in general, and on grass he does it even better. I just feel like outside of serving, I feel like his game is woefully behind on everything else. I hear your point, and you qualified your statement very well. On grass, one day.
On grass, here at this tournament.
And I'm with you. And I do that. We don't argue. We do not disagree with each other on that whatsoever. I wonder. And again, Carlos can be a little bit loose. I saw Carlos trying a bunch of things today. I saw him volley more than I ever saw him volley. Alvin, he was at the net 41 times. 41 times. 131 of them. You think about that. That's a big number for a guy that loves the baseline.
And he's doing it off of serve and volley. Like he's creating opportunities to
serve and drop volley at times, Alvin.
Right.
Serve and drop volley. I mean, which just shows you how far ahead and how much he was exploiting the drop shot. This is my point I was mentioning earlier in the podcast about what that's going to do, or what Iga may need to do. What I was really hoping that Arena would have done more. Alvin, I don't know how many drop shots I counted. I got tired of counting how many times he went drop, reverse drop, fake drop, slice. I mean, it got to the point where if I was proud of Taylor for continuing to run him down. I was proud of him for not conceding those points. But I was also saying, Carlos is saying, I don't care how long this match goes today. I'm going to beat you and not work on some things in the sense that you're not that good. No, you're very good. I'm going to beat you another way today to work on this for me going forward. That's what I saw in that match.
This is the Carlos Alcaraz experience right now. He is unbothered by 127 the other 126 players in the draw, not named Jannik Sinner. He doesn't care. He's like, best out of 5 sets, I got all the time in the world. It doesn't matter what I do out here. I'm going to beat you eventually. So I'm just trying some things out, because some of the things he did to Taylor today is what he's going to need to do against Jannik on Sunday.
And
he knows that.
Getting at.
He's like, I need to get these reps off.
Right. And he wasn't bothered by the 4th set. It just so happened that Taylor served so unbelievably well that it had to go 4, and he was right there, and he stubbed his toe a couple of times in those breakers. Well, the 7-5 and then the break in the second, and obviously 7-6 in the breaker in the 4th. But I was never, I'm sure you weren't, we were never concerned that match may go the other way. It was just more surprising at how close it was throughout. I'm only saying it, Alvin, to say at any given time that I think that Carlos was dialing it back, trying to beat him the other way. He was committed to saying, yep, I'm going to exploit his lack of speed. I'm going to come forward. I'm going to drop shot. I'm going to hit big and drop shot. I'm going to serve and volley and drop shot. And I will make the court go north-south all day. He will have to get fast or die trying this match. And I feel like that's the thing that he was committed to that process today.
Yeah.
And I think that he also, for future, for Sunday, he was saying, I'm going to get this serve and volley thing down, because I realize I may need to have this up my sleeve and be pretty honed at it going forward. And, I think he's right. But I say it to say it was a very clear-cut strategy of going forward and hitting short and making sure. Alvin, he had a couple of touch drop shots, a couple of touch drop volleys today that I was like, dude. I
he hit one
for a long time.
that
feathered the
Taylor like hit at him pretty hard. He misreads it, gets out of the way to hit a forehand volley in the middle of the court, and then just drops it. Like
drops it inside out. I remember
what?
That. I remember that.
What are we talking about, Carlitos? We have so I'm gonna finish my Taylor Fritz thing.
Sure.
All I'm saying is I watched that match. I listened to his comments afterwards. I compared them to my notes, and I go, I take my hat off to you, Taylor Fritz. Like you ain't no punk. You're there.
Yep.
You're that match. 2 times out of 10, maybe 3 times out of 10, he could get that match. I could see him. Carlos is playing fantastic tennis right now. He is full Carlos mode right now.
No doubt.
Let's say he's not, and he's a little off. He comes out a little pissed off that day. Taylor could win that match. Whereas, like, I see him play against Sinner, and like, I don't see how you beat this guy. Like, there's not enough variance in the Sinner performances for you to have enough opportunities for it to matter. But Taylor has
or in micrometers. He's like
exactly. Taylor has the tools.
0.221 off today.
Taylor has the tools on this surface to exploit a bad day by Carlos Alcaraz.
I agree.
That's all.
Or a loose day, to your point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
whereas
I don't feel that way about
Ben
about
or
Ben.
Tommy and that's fair.
Right.
I would also say Taylor's a bit older, and I would say that he's got a little more experience on the surface. I would also say that Ben's still getting there. And I know you're not comparing the two. I think what you're really trying to say is that you feel like the others have no chance, and you feel like Taylor has a chance. That's what I'm hearing you to say.
That is what I'm saying. Taylor is, he, like I said before, ad nauseum, he is the fourth best grass court player on the men's tour right now. Sure. And then he has a chance to. He will probably final this event at some point. I
agree with that.
He is older,
and we saw that when he lost that fateful match against Nadal when Nadal had to pull out in the semi. He was right there with Nadal that day. I mean, let's be honest. And give him his props. He was right there that day then, and he's resurfaced a few times since, and he's continued to do well. And this tournament obviously is no exception. So I agree with that. Yeah. I want to get back to the point. Fair enough. And I'm glad you mentioned that. And I will take a note in what you're saying and watch him with different glasses going forward. I just hope he can continue to do the same thing on hard court. The one thing I will say, and we talked about this before, this is not to put any more feathers in the already full cap of Jannik and Carlos. They are playing, the both of them are playing at such a superb level right now. The comment I made to you after the French was not just how it may have been one of the best French Opens I've ever seen and one of the best five setters I've ever seen, period. It was also, and I'm not sure they come down from this. And I remember telling you, I can't remember if we were on wax, we'd already had cut. I'm worried about the rest of the tour because they're not going to just go into some cryogenic chamber, and cool off after that. They're going to continue, and they are going to pick up where they left off. Wimbledon's not that far away, and now here we are again coming into the same matchup. Alvin, I'm telling you, they're continuing to get better in this situation. This is going to be King Kong versus Godzilla right here. They're going to continue to keep getting new tricks, new powers as they do this. And I really hope those at home, those watching here, and tennis fans at large don't get bored of this rivalry, which in my opinion is starting to really get good because so much of it is countering what they thought they could do last week. I mean, the things they're starting to do and figure out are testing the limits of physics at this point, right, and I'm really happy. I'm just telling you, Alvin, I have yet to see tennis be this exciting, be this constant in motion and in being contested. There were Wimbledons when I grew up, Alvin, I'm sure we're not that far off in age, where Kevin Kern would rip off 35 to 40 aces. It was cool for me as an 11-year-old to watch a guy hit a big serve 30 times. But as a person watching tennis, it got kind of boring. The guy hit a big serve. He moved over to the side. The guy hit a big serve, got double faults. You'd go through two games and see two ground stroke points, right? And back then the coverage was grainy, so you really couldn't even see the ball. I mean, it was. I'm glad John said chalk flew up because I didn't see any chalk flew up on my TV back in the day. I said all to say these guys are contesting points every game. If there's an ace, you feel like, he stole one there. That was an ace. Because they both return so well. The points are long. The points are big. And they're not pushing. This is not old school Tracy Austin. I say it to say this is really good to watch. And I hope I don't hear from anyone, I'm tired of these guys being in the final again. Buddy, watch the tennis. Get over yourself and watch the tennis.
No, I mean,
this is big time.
I think so now we're at the we've delayed the pleasure. We're at the show now. This is the show. This is the show. We are about an hour and 20 minutes into this podcast, and now we are here.
We're here. We're warmed up now.
I was like every tennis fan. You want this. I earlier said that I didn't want it. I was almost reverse jinxing myself.
Right.
I want this like anyone.
And you didn't want it because you really wanted it.
I didn't think. I mean, I obviously the French Open final was a whole different world of tennis, especially from fourth set on, right? And no one expects to see that here. It could happen. Something crazy could happen.
You're reversing yourself again.
No, I mean, like, it's just like I've said it before. Clay allows for the most expression of tennis because there's so many things that you have to do and can do to win points on clay. Like, it just you have to do everything. Whereas on grass, like the points are a lot shorter, a lot faster. Right? There's more winners, more races. The whole deal, right? That's why it won't necessarily look like that, but it could still be great.
Right.
And it's cool that it's now starting to happen, not only in finals because they've met in a few finals now, but it's starting to happen in Grand Slam finals. Like last year, they met in the French Open semis. And a couple of years ago, they met in the Australian Open, I think round of 16, that night match that went 5 sets, and they pulling out the tweeners and the slide. The whole deal it was nuts. But neither one of them were who they are now.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And then at the end of last year, I can't remember if it was in China or if in Japan. I think it was in China. They had a bang out match, best out of 3. I think Carlos took it 7-6 in the third, got down like 5-2 or 5-1. Maybe 5-0 in the third set tiebreaker, and then just blitzed Jannik and didn't lose another. He was hitting winners from everywhere. I remember watching that going like, are you kidding? What is happening right now?
Right.
So that happened on hard court, right?
Yep.
And then there was a suspension, and then they played on clay court in Rome. All right, first one back. Got it. Cool. And then they play the French Open final, Pantheon match. And now here we are as tennis fans. I need us to breathe and take a second and realize what we are living through. The last time two men met in back-to-back Grand Slam finals was Fed and Nadal, French Open, Wimbledon, 2008, right? This is before internet tennis coverage is really a thing. This is before Twitter existed. This is before like podcasts were really big. Like we are living it again. So you need to appreciate it every single time it happens.
Yep.
And so here we are. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I assume Jannik is going to do what Jannik normally does. He's going to try to serve big, and he is going to be running around doing the sliding thing, trying to hit the crap out of the ball, right? Trying to hit the ball past Carlos.
Yep.
Carlos has been serving big all tournament. Like he's touched 20 aces a few times this tournament. Like that's big for him. Like that is a level jump.
Yeah.
But to your point about what he did to Taylor today, like serving out wide, coming in behind it, drop volley. What you also mentioned about Jannik sliding in those corners. Come out of that slide, Carlos is going to go right back behind your ass. What are you going to do then?
Well, he will.
Now I guarantee we see that at least 10 times on Sunday.
Yep, I agree with that.
Slide, come out of it, ball back in the same spot.
Yep.
That's the pot of gold right there. Because you shouldn't be sliding on grass court. I'm sorry.
100%.
It's hard to come out of that.
But we are also talking about sliding on drop shots. And so to my point, Novak tried said play several times to his demise. And I'm just saying it was just fun to see him. It was fun to see him get his footing better in that match against Novak. And to your point, you shouldn't be sliding, certainly not sliding that far after the shot. Even on clay, you slide into, right? Not out, not after. But it seems like he's getting his footing more and more. It could be the surface. It could be it's less slick. I don't know. But for whatever reason, I wasn't seeing that even early in the week, and I see it now. It just tells me that each match he plays is getting more comfortable. So, whatever happened.
And the second time there's less grass,
he's been near death. He almost, that match against Holger Rune in Australia, this match against Grigor. I mean, this is a couple of times now, but he comes out of each one like playing better, and you're like, dang it. So it's I don't know. This whole thing is going to be a fun match. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I'm not. You don't ever expect what happened to the French, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more fireworks. I would not be surprised at all.
I would like to see them both play well early. Like if we can get into it, like the first set was a little that at the beginning of the French Open final, like Carlos had a bunch of chances on Jannik's serve early and then didn't get the break. And then like they got into some long, like both of them were just a little bit off, but Carlos was just a little worse off. And it took a while for that match to get like good, like really good.
I agree.
I hope they can, but we're in the shooter's paradise here, right? I want to see them both just going for it. What does the story what does the story want? Like what is the story that's waiting to be
You have to tell me, Mr. Macro, what does the tennis gods look for in this one here? You tell me.
like Carlos said, I'm not going to just keep beating him all the time, people. Like I've won the last few, but that doesn't mean I'm going to keep beating him. Like he's going to beat me eventually. Like it's going to happen. This is a rivalry. There's two sides to this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to happen here? I do believe. Is it going to happen here?
Yeah.
Oh God, probably not. Probably not here.
My gut says no. My gut says not here. However, as I often say, it's possible, not likely, and he's playing better, Carlos. Not worse, better. I feel like it'll be very, very contested. I think
better than. He's playing better than.
No, I'm saying Carlos is playing better than Carlos normally plays.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what I was looking for. Better than Carlos normally
he's
plays.
Not
he's playing. He is playing well right now.
He's playing better, and remember my 5 words. He's playing well right now. I mean, he is playing extremely well right now, and that's you can't say that Jannik is not. But I just say he's between his hitting, his ripping, his feel, his drop shots, his gets. He is very comfortable on that stage out there, and there is not much that he doesn't usually look very flustered. There's times when he's a little more tight, he's smiling less, and then you can see when he starts smiling, he can tell he's a little more comfortable with what's happening, a little less pressure on him. But there were times I didn't see him not smile today. I mean, he looked like he was having fun out there. And to me, that's his secret sauce. He can keep it fun and keep it that way. He just enjoys beating you and enjoys winning. I don't think it's the wins, the championships, and all that. He's one of those kind of guys. I just want to win, and not in a win like I have to beat you, but like
it's showtime.
I enjoy it.
It's showtime.
I enjoy being on the stage and doing what I do, and I enjoy. The harder you try, the more Monfils had always had this level of showmanship where. He loved it when it got close. He loved it when it got tight. He loved when you drop shot him. It was almost like he got a chance to show you more of what he could do. Carlos is just a much more well-rounded and more, very well, healed version of Gale in terms of his game. He just does everything pretty well. And the more competitive it is, it seems to me that he enjoys that even more. So that's what I'm looking forward to on Sunday. Is just a really good, hard-fought match that is going to be fun, great for the viewers, and I think we're in for another treat. I really do. I think we're in for another treat. I don't want to jinx it by saying it'll go another 5 and it'll be another epic one, but that we don't know. That magic happens. You can't create it, but you darn sure can't bottle it. But it's very possible and very likely that match will go the distance, and it'll be a great match for everybody to see, and it'll be another great one for the ages. I think as big as the French, who knows? But will it be another good one? 100%.
And I was going to ask you to give me your quick picks on both of those finals. I'm not going to. If you've listened this far, I think people know how you feel about this.
Yep.
I would say that in this match. Same way I looked at the, looking at the two players' profiles and going through the checklist.
Yeah.
Carlos should win this match. I feel like he should win this match. He's two-time champion, like 29-3 on grass in his life, right? He has more things to draw from, which
now
I think is required on this. I think it's required on this surface. And he's playing well. I would say compared to his standard, he's playing better compared to his standard than Jannik is playing compared to his right now.
Agreed.
Right now.
Agreed.
Let's not forget Jannik was down 2-0 against Grigor before Grigor blew his shoulder out, right?
100%.
Right. So he is not without fault.
Yep.
So from that being said, he probably should win. And then
it's certainly his to win.
Story, what should happen?
He's the defending champ.
I would love for him to win this match, and then I would love for Sinner to win the U.S. Open, and then we go to Turin, and we're battling for it. That's what I actually want. I want Turin to matter. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted. But
finally
I do
got
think
to that point.
On paper, I do think when you look at that, it would make sense for Carlos to win. There's no reason besides the Jannik of things that he shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's good. We're blessed as tennis fans. We are blessed. We got crap in Australia. Oh, actually, we got the Madison Sabalenka match.
That was big. That was big.
Awesome. Madison's run held up the tournament. That was awesome to live through.
Yep.
French Open was amazing. It was like the best Grand Slam. It was amazing.
Yeah.
The
whole tournament
was weird in the first few days. The French Open was perfect. Great tennis. It was
great
perfect.
tennis all the way through.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This tournament, a little strange in the beginning. A lot of upsets.
Man.
Which made
Carnage.
to the back end of week 1, front end of week 2, and a little weird. But we got to on both sides.
Yep.
4 really good, 3.5 really good matchups, and now these finals that we've been presented with. But Linda, I'm
with you. I was wondering what match you were
glad
going
you showed
with.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one. It was that one.
I have a quick question before we
I think we as
put
tennis
a pin in
fans we're blessed with these 2 finals.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to save my question for later because I know you like Mira. I was just going to ask you what you thought Iga and Mira would have done. Very different games, obviously. I'm just in general. I mean,
that's an interesting question. I feel like Mira does not like the speed. Like it's just the surface is a little fast, and Belinda's flat ball, she struggled with it. I think
I get that.
Iga would
I'm not
give
talking
her
about. I'm
more
saying
to play
should
with.
Mira have won going against Iga?
Oh, probably not. No.
Okay.
No,
I think Iga wouldn't have any problems with Mira either. Is what you're saying?
It would have been. Yeah, I think Mira her skill is obvious. Her potential is obvious.
Sure.
She still does some kid stuff, which limits her ability to, like, we've talked about this ad nauseum, right? It's 2 weeks of tennis. If you want a Grand Slam, you gotta be there mentally for 2 weeks. You can't no checkouts. Your tennis can take a dip here and there, but you can't check out, right?
Right.
And especially on the women's side when you don't have 5 sets to play with, right? You only got 2. She checked out a little bit in both of those tiebreakers.
She did.
Enough to go home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's her maturation journey.
Sure.
It'll
take her a couple of years, but she'll be there. I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
But to your point,
the stakes are high. The stakes are high in 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stakes are high in best out of 3. Like it's hard. It's really, really hard, especially with the sped up surface. Like you don't get a lot of chances. You can't. Like you almost have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I leave it. I'm tired. I have no more words left. We're just gonna go. We're gonna watch.
Done.
We're gonna watch it happen. We're gonna watch these last 2 chapters get written, and I'm excited.
I love it. Fresh ink and full cup of coffee or a cold beverage, whatever we got. I'm looking forward to it as well. I will let you know about that, and we'll see if we can make Sunday happen. I look forward to it.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I'm Alvin. That's Torrey. Pinning it. We're out.
Peace.